So, hello there, and welcome to tapping the power of your message and sharing it fearlessly. This is, as I said earlier, a work and play shop. So, this is going to be interactive, and that means you'll probably be talking to each other, which is wonderful. I love that. I hope you like it too. You're definitely going to be encouraged to talk to me. And if for some reason you're not available for that, just let me know and we'll figure out how to make it work. If you're listening to the replay during those times when we go into a breakout and do a little exercise, I'm going to encourage you to pause as you're watching and follow along with us, because that's actually what I think is going to give you the greatest benefit here. So let me start with my intentions for this work and play shop that we're about to engage in together. I really thought about what would I love to give you? What would I love to gift you around this topic of sharing your message? I feel so passionate about sharing what is in you to be expressed, whatever it is that you desire to express. Now, for many of us here, I might know you personally, or I'm guessing that your message has something to do with making a positive difference in the world. And it matters, not just because of the difference that it will make, but because of the difference it makes to you as you express what's in your heart. And so I want to help you do that. That's my biggest intention. My other intention for this is to give you a little taste of the experience that you might choose to join me on, which is called Share. It's a 4-week adventure that begins on March 20th. So this is just a little bit of that. And hopefully some substantial value and perhaps even a shift in your relationship with sharing what it is you do and the message you have for the world that happens right here. It begins right here. So, in case you don't know, I have a kind of a long background with messaging. So in my previous, I've been pretty much a lifelong entrepreneur, at least most of my adult life. I've had multiple businesses and I fell in love with marketing along the way, which really is just communicating a message. And so it's something that I've been thinking about for a long time. But I don't think there's anybody here who actually knows me from my Bookmore Brides days. I had a career, a former life as an internet marketer, one of those people who was all about selling stuff online and creating courses. And so I'm slightly embarrassed to share this video with you, but I want to show it to you because if I can make this shift, I know you can. So back in the day, I was a good little student. This video is about 14 years old. So I'm going to share my screen and show you. Hold on a sec while I pull this up and share what I was up to back then. Now, it didn't ask me here. Hold on. I'm going to have to stop this and start it again. Apologies for that. Where's my little video thing? Layouts and options. Oh, they've changed things on me in Zoom. Does anybody know where it is that maybe they just automatically will share it? Let's see. If you can't hear it, I'll stop. It's actually pretty funny to still watch. Okay. We shall wait. Okay, share sound, optimize for video clip. There it is. I found it. I'm so pleased with myself. Okay.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Padavani. I've been a wedding insider for...
The best morning routine for
No.
is an alpha meditative practice. You may be
okay, that's not me.
about 10 years, as well as a writer, blogger, and all-around go-to gal for just about everything in the Hudson Valley wedding universe. And this is my husband.
And I'm Jeff Padavani, professional guitarist, DJ, wedding expert, and I have a black belt in internet marketing.
We met in the corporate world.
This magic moment, so different and so new, was like any other.
For corporate escapees.
We're going to tell you our story of wedding success, how we shared what we learned with our wedding professional friends, and then we'll show you how you can learn one of our best kept secrets. We quickly built up our wedding entertainment business to be one of the most successful in-demand DJ companies in the Hudson Valley region of New York, one of the most competitive wedding markets in the entire country.
You know, we hear the same story over and over again from our wedding vendor friends. How do I deal with price shoppers? I can't keep up with internet technology. I don't even know what a blog is, and I have no time for this social networking thing. What am I supposed to do?
It's more important than ever that you prove your value right from the start.
We were able to raise our rates, stop doing bridal shows, drop traditional advertising, and we stay booked all the time.
That's because we're constantly using cutting-edge marketing. We've dedicated ourselves to helping you use the power of the internet and innovative technologies so that you can thrive in any market. We grilled marketing experts, revealing the techniques that will take your business to the next level.
Struggling with your business? Well, we have the solution, and we want to show you the love. So come visit us at Book More Brides and sign up, and we're going to share with you that best kept secret, how to turn your brides into a sales force of raving fans.
Gosh. Hold on, I'm gonna have to stop this video. So I don't know if that cracked you up, but it totally cracked me up watching it. That's where I began in my marketing journey. And as you can tell, I was really into the hype. I was really into the spin. I was having fun with it. That at the time was really authentic for me. But if you look at the videos that I make today, there's something very different about them, at least for me. I'm actually feeling what I'm saying. And I had to slow down to do that. I had to let go of the scripts. I had to stop thinking about doing it right. And it's a different kind of relationship that I have with the people who find me now. It's the kind of relationship that's built on trust, that doesn't require me trying to twist your arm into buying something, that doesn't need me to stir up your pain points and get you feeling all emotional so that you're more likely to buy. It's speaking from my heart and trusting that you will know whether I'm someone you want to spend time with and grow with and be guided by or not. So what is it that really creates an impactful message? So the kind of messages that we were giving in that video, the way I see them now, might move people from a place of fear and greed, excitement over what might happen if they learn the secrets that we know, And my intentions were good. I thought that's what I had to do to get through to people. But what really creates impact in your message, the biggest thing you can do is speak from your heart. Speak from what's true for you. Being heartfelt reaches people, even if they're not interested in your message. It makes them stop and pay attention. When you're heartfelt with a group of small children who are screaming and yelling, they start to pay attention to you. They start to settle down. When you're heartfelt on social media, on the internet, in person with people in a world where most people the environment is so full of noise and people are so inundated with that, they they look at you like, oh, something's different here. And the cool thing about being heartfelt is that it's not something you need to learn. It's something you can do in any moment when you drop out of your thinking and get a little more present and speak from your truth. Speak from that wisdom inside of you. And you don't have to do this perfectly, by the way. I sure don't. I have moments when I get caught up in my head, and you might see me, oh, Stephanie looks a little nervous right now. Like, yeah, that happens with me too. It happens with all of us. But it only takes a moment to drop back down into my heart, to slow myself down. And the more I know that's available, the easier it gets to do. So that's really what I want to give you an experience of today. There is a second piece in a message that impacts people that's also important, and that's relevance. So is what you're saying relevant to them? If you have a message about a way you can help them, it's important to let you know that, how you can help them. And it's actually quite simple. But truthfully, the relevance is a far, far, far second from being heartfelt. There are people who are heartfelt, and I'm clearly not interested in what they're doing or selling, but I stop and listen to them because there's something about it that touches me. I want to share a story with you about how being heartfelt and following the aliveness of what's coming through you in a message creates clients, creates impact without you're even necessarily trying to do that intentionally. And so this happened a couple of years ago. I was part of my mentor, Michael Neal's course called Fearless Living. And so we were exploring, as you might imagine, the nature of fear. And I was inspired to write a story called Tea with Demons. And I'm not going to read it to you now. It's short, but I'll link to it with the replay. So if you want to read it, you can. I wrote a story called Tea with Demons. And it's really about dealing with our emotions and our fear. And I shared it in the online community for that program. And without my knowing that this was going to happen, Michael read that story to live on Zoom to about 200 people and didn't even mention my last name, actually, but it did reference that, Stephanie posted this in the forum. And within 24 hours, I had people reaching out to me about that story. I believe he actually read it on another program that I wasn't a part of also. And I had 3 new client inquiries. And I ended up, through those relationships that came to me through that story, which had nothing to do with business, which had nothing to do with what I actually do as a coach. It's a story about tea with demons, of all things, a spiritual teaching story, actually. I had 5 clients and or students, members of my community, come to me that way. Now, how the hell did that happen? It clearly was not something I planned. It wasn't something I could have made happen. I couldn't predict that. I didn't do it with that intention. So what was happening? I see a few elements here that I'll share with you, because this isn't a formula. This isn't something you can repeat and copy, but it is something that you have access to, all of these things. And the first is following your aliveness. I wrote that story because I was moved to write that story because there was a message in me that wanted to be expressed. And I did it. Not because I thought it was going to get me anything, because it just occurred to me to do. It wanted to be expressed, and I put my fingers on the keys and I did it. And the second thing I did there was I shared it. I shared it in a forum because it occurred to me to do so, not because, again, this is not a place that I was going to get clients. This was a forum about a personal growth or spiritual growth program. This was not a place for me to go and solicit clients. That's not what I was doing. I didn't do that. But I did share it. And the third thing that was at play, I think that if I had just shared that story and there wasn't a trail of breadcrumbs for people to follow to find out more about me, those people who read that story or heard that story and were moved by it probably never would have reached out to me. But I had a focused intention to make it easy for people to find me and to know what I did. And in fact, I create many pieces of content. This story was not one of them, but I create many pieces of content intentionally to deliver value to people and make it easy for them to find, so that if they like it, they can come to me and learn more. And I've done this in my whole business career. I've been doing this for a long time, and it feels very natural and very generous. And even in my hypey days, it was still one of my favorite things to do. So those are the three very simple things that you can do. Follow the aliveness of what wants to be expressed through you. Share it. Share it with people so they can discover that message, whether it's on a YouTube channel, whether it's on social media, whether it's in a regular old email to your friends, you put it on your website, or you share it in a conversation with someone you actually speak to in real life. Share what's in your heart. And then finally, have an intention, not one that you're doing these things for, but the more you have an intention to create something like value for your clients, like new relationships, and yes, money also, that becomes a part of the overall picture. It's not done for the sake of that, but it's also present, and it makes a difference. So I'm going to pause there in case anyone wants to share or ask any questions before I go on. If there's anything percolating. And if you could raise your digital hand, that would be great, because I can't quite see everybody on the screen the way I'm recording. I'm kind of wondering if anything might be occurring to you, especially if it's new, maybe something a little surprising. Or there might be questions coming up. Okay. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you. I've followed you for some time now, a few years, but I got a big message from the universe about 3 years ago that I needed to just step out of everything and just wait for everything to get to where it needs to be. Bit of a story, but I won't go into that now. But one of the issues I had with running my business was the whole marketing thing, of selling and pushing instead of just providing value, and really just being, as you say, authentic and allowing what you need to do. So I've recently set up a new Facebook business page. Facebook closed my whole thing down, which was another confirmation from the universe that this wasn't what I was meant to be doing at that particular time. And the one thing I said at the top, don't expect regular messages or regular posts. I will post when I'm inspired to post, and not unless I'm inspired to post. So you're not going to get automated posts. You're not going to get anything like that. And what I'm finding now, just by allowing this to happen, and it's beautiful to hear you saying this, is that I am getting very slowly. I am getting inspired. I was inspired to join this today, and I actually did another workshop today. I haven't done any workshops for probably 3 years. I've not been inspired to do it. So yeah, just listening to what you're saying is just confirmation that we are going into a new world, and what worked then doesn't work now. And I struggle when I watch these posts, knowing that most of them are created by AI, and just this constant barrage of information that often isn't of any value or particular interest. So what you're saying now really resonates with me, and it's great to hear it from somebody who's actually in the field and knows what they're doing, rather than just me just trusting that it'll be right when the time's right. Thank you.
That's beautiful, Lisa. I love that you're following what you know to do. And I want to comment on something that you said, and this isn't just about you, Lisa, but I want to make a little distinction here. So following what you're moved to do, what you know to do, is also sometimes different from the feeling of inspiration. So that feeling of like, I'm inspired to, I'm excited to, which is wonderful. But we actually don't need to wait for a feeling in order to share when we know to share. And it's okay to share or show up or create or express when you're not feeling it. Because I can't tell you how many times I have done that, especially in the creation of things. And when I show up with it and put my attention on what I actually want to say instead of the thinking that I have in my head about it, my judgments about it, my fears about it, something meets me there and it catches me and I become enlivened and alive with it. So I like this word alive, because alive can be fiery. It can be a little uncomfortable sometimes, but you know that this wants to happen. And we don't have to wait for a feeling. And to yes, especially when we've been denying our inspiration or doing things, pushing ourselves through things, coming back to that is so very vitally important. So I'm kind of saying a yes and to that one, just for all of us to consider where you might be in that regard. So
Thank
Rick.
you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say very quickly that I really, for the last 3 years, have not even wanted to be. There's been nothing in my heart to say. It's just literally has been withdrawal from everything, and just I don't think I've made an original post for probably nearly 3 years.
Wow.
So just not. I've not been drawn to say anything or to do anything. So it's just purely trusting the process, and it's been a big 3 years trusting the process, let me tell you.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you found your way to us today. Thanks, Lisa. Hi, Rick.
Oop, there we go. On the right button. This is so timely, and that's why I'm here, because I'm following a nudge. And I've got a saying, example of following a nudge, and this year it seems like I want to play in a bigger and bolder way. And so with that intention, a lot of things come up as far as what I consider nudges to write. And I took some bold steps in writing to medical journals that I've never been really fearful of exploring, right? And following the nudge and letting go of, okay, what do you know what you're talking about, kind of thing. Got some really immediate responses back, including one will be published in May, which totally shocks the hell out of me. No, anyways, but what's interesting is like following the nudge, like the nudge is there, but following the nudge afterwards is this thing about holding on to a result. If you kind of get what my drift, like, like there's business, and I hear what you're saying, but there's also this, well, I got to make money. And so there's this, this little niche there that's sort of trickling in there. So I don't know if you're addressing that later or what, but I like to stay ahead of that, but I know it comes in, right? It comes into the play.
I love that you're saying that, Rick. What came to mind was something that I think this came via the coach Steve Chandler, but I know I heard it through a third party, so I might not have the source correct. It was something like in regards to how do you let go of that feeling of attachment when you are sharing something, whether it's in a coaching conversation or with a potential client, or if it's a post on social media. And someone had said to him, like, don't you want to make money? And he's like, sure, I want to make money. But it doesn't have to be with you. It doesn't have to be with this post. In other words, it's sort of like it's a separate intention. You can hold them both. You can hold an intention to create money, to create value for people and receive money in exchange. And you can hold an intention to create a piece of content with a purpose of attracting people, inviting people that you can help. But it doesn't have to come from that one. You know, it doesn't have to be that one.
Well, you just, so what just hit me was that they're two separate thoughts, and I'm attaching them together as if they mean something together. And they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're absolutely, yeah, I see that.
And it is really hard. I've got to say, I do it myself also. I create something that I think is really cool and I'm like really excited about it. And I put it out there and then like, nope, nothing. And I'm like, shit. But I know enough that just keep creating, just keep following the nudges. We don't know why. I have no idea why. Because you get a nudge doesn't mean it's taking you where you think it's going to go. Doesn't mean it quote unquote works as a marketing strategy or a client creation strategy. Like, no, that's not how the game works. It's doing something. You're creating it. I mean, I believe this. I know this in my heart. Even just inside of you, it's ripening, it's maturing, it's sparking, it's inspiring you to create it. And sharing it is a part of the co-creation with the universe, whether you get a response from the people it's intended for or not. And it's going to be random. It's like, I mean, the other thing that happens very often is I'll create something over in this direction over here. I'm pointing to my right. And then something comes back over here from my left, totally separate. It looks, but it happens so often that I know they're connected.
Mhm.
So it's like there's nothing to lose in it. The only thing is whatever fears we've made up about what that might mean. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Rick, because I don't know if I would have talked about that, but I did because you were here.
Thanks, Stephanie.
That's awesome. So yeah, I want to give you a chance to speak from your heart now. And I'm going to create breakout rooms and I'm going to give you 12 minutes. You're going to be in pairs. And what I want you to do, each of you, the first person will share the message you most wish people could hear. So just give yourself a moment, take as long as you need. It doesn't have to be a long message, to get still and just connect to your heart as best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is an experiment. We're here to support each other. And speak from your heart. What do you wish people knew that would make a big difference in their lives? So for 4 minutes, you'll talk about that. And your conversational partner will listen. All you have to do is listen. And I want you to listen with your heart too. So rather than listening with your mind to try to agree or disagree or even understand, just listen as best you can like it's music. Feel it. Feel the message of their heart. And then when they're done, I want you to take about 1 to 2 minutes, and the person who was listening, just reflect the aliveness you heard, just the energy. What did you feel? What was alive in what you heard them say? When did you might want to, you'll notice they get inspired, right? Some people it'll be obvious, some people it'll be more subtle. And just reflect that for a moment or two. No advice, no coaching, just reflect the aliveness and the energy that you felt. And then you'll swap partners. So it'll be 12 minutes total, and I'll give you little timing reminders here, so you don't need to worry about that. And yes, I'm going to figure out how to do this now. This is where I need to have a lovely assistant. I will do that again. Any questions about this before we go into the breakout rooms? Okay, awesome. So I shall create the rooms now. And it looks like we have an odd number of people. So one of you will probably have me as a conversational partner. I'm going to leave that to the Zoom gods. Okay, so when you see the rooms open up, please say yes to join, and I will see you in 12 minutes. I'm muted. Welcome back. No, I am no longer muted. That was so fun. I actually got to be in a room and wow. So I'm curious, what did you notice about that? What did you notice about sharing? Or what did you notice about reflecting and listening, that especially something that is new or surprising for you, something that you're seeing new and fresh? I'd love to hear, and please do raise your digital hand so I can see you when you do. And if a question's coming up, that's also perfect. Why, hello, Jerry. Can you unmute yourself?
There it goes.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was with Ollie, and it was just amazing. He was talking about sharks, diving with sharks, and it's cool because I've loved sharks ever since I was a kid. So it was just crazy that we got together on this conversation. So it was pretty amazing. But his passion for it, that's what really came out. It was great. But yeah, I couldn't believe it when he started talking about that. It's like, this is cool. You don't run into people like that. Now, what in the world that we're on a conversation halfway around the world from each other, probably, and we both have interest in sharks.
Well, how cool is that? And
it is. It's amazing how people come together. Hey, one thought, one mind. We're all one.
yeah. And you know, we can trust that in sharing our message. It isn't for everyone, but somehow the people it's meant for, even if we never see them, it finds them if it's meant for them. It can't not. That's why I love trusting the Zoom gods to breakout rooms. It never fails to amaze me. Like there's just some little thing always. It can't not be. We co-create it. So that's amazing, Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's hear from Lisa. And I think that's going to be the last person I'll have time for right now, just because I want to share a few more things. Hi, Lisa.
Okay, I'll make it quick. I was blessed to have Steph in my room, and what I felt was just the energy of this beautiful gardener tending to her garden, and I felt just this beautiful feeling, this space of safety, of nourishment, of support. So as we grow, there was the support, and just at one point when Steph said "and to grow," and her whole body just lifted up, just the energy of that was just amazing. But this was the energy that I felt from Steph, is just that she's the most beautiful gardener who creates and tends to her garden, looking after everything, everyone, prepares the soil first, and then just does everything that's needed to help somebody be the best version of themselves. It was a beautiful feeling. Thank you, Steph.
Thank you, Lisa. I swear I didn't pay her to say that. That was just really cool. And we enjoyed ourselves so much. I don't know who feels kind of like energized and invigorated after sharing and listening. Yeah, like there's something about it that's so nourishing when we spend time in our hearts and listening from our hearts. And that's the impact I'm talking about. And every one of you has it. You already have it. You don't have to have a niche and know who your avatar is and have an irresistible offer and all of that other shit. You don't need to have that to speak from your heart. You don't need to have that to impact people and reach people. And as you go, you're going to get clearer about this. My mission number one is to get you to share what's inside of you. It's so alive, it comes more alive. And even when you stumble and fumble, and we all stumble and fumble, we trip over our words, we might get caught up, we might even fall down for a second. That's okay. Every time you can survive that, not only survive that, you have resilience. You can get past every discouragement you have up till now. So I know you haven't been discouraged your whole life. You're going to be okay. And not only okay, you're going to learn and grow. If you stay in the game, it's rigged for you to win. You stay in long enough, you keep engaged, you keep sharing, you keep listening. That's it. It's like it's speaking from your heart is also listening at the same time. And you'll get what you need to grow. You'll learn what your message is more. You'll get clearer about how to say it in a way that feels good and that people understand, and how to connect on that relevance. Speaking from your heart is where to begin and where to come back to. So I had promised a bit that I would speak about simple sharing. You just did it. You just did it. I don't want to overcomplicate it by giving you ideas, because I'm betting you already have some. Simple sharing is what feels easy and natural for you. It's the idea that's been tickling you and going, that'd be interesting to try. No, I couldn't possibly, right? Whatever your objections might be. Like Rick had this idea to send these letters to these medical journals. Like, wow, I'm impressed. I've never done that. That kind of idea, something simple. If there's someone in your heart, someone who you'd love to help, it might be an acquaintance, it might be a loved one, it could be a former client or a current client, send them a note. Not a note of, I want to help you, hire me, but a note of, I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about you and what I know about this thing you desire, this thing you're creating, or the struggle you're having. Would you like to talk about it? That's simple sharing. It doesn't have to look complicated. You know, there's something I will share this one thing. This is a simple, it seems too simple to be valuable, right? As it could be a social media post, it could be a meme, it could be a picture on Instagram. I don't do any of those things anymore, by the way, other than YouTube. I've pretty much been social media silent for years. Is that if you think about what you just shared, that message in your heart, and you put it into a sentence, just one sentence, I wish people knew. One sentence. That's it. It's not a message for everybody. It's a message from your heart to the hearts of those who are waiting for it. So I want to encourage you to spend a little bit of time, maybe today, maybe right after this, if you can, just getting a little quiet and listening. What simple things can you do to share. What do you know? I keep coming back to that. What do you know about what simple sharing means for you and what that looks like? There's a little nudge, there's a whisper. And it's okay if it doesn't come right away. It's a question that you live into. I'm going to keep asking you that if you hang out with me for any length of time. And something might drop in tomorrow while you're in the shower. And that's exactly perfect. Now, thank you. Thank you for joining me here. Thank you for having the courage to take a step that maybe it felt like it needed courage. Maybe it felt easy for you. I don't know. But thank you for saying yes to it and to yourselves. And I want to invite you, if you like this sort of thing, and if you'd like more of it, the Share experience, as I said, it starts on March the 20th. And right now you can get 50% off. It's our early bird. This is the first time I've run this experience, not the first time that I've done this kind of creation with people. I've mostly done it one-on-one. You're welcome to join us. And on top of the 50% off, for the next 5 people who choose to join Share or join me and my co-creators in the Impact membership, I will be including a 30-minute message magic session with me, where I'll ask you a few questions and I'll reflect. I'll reflect what I hear, but mostly you get to hear your words, and I have a way of reflecting them back to you. Or if there's something else that occurs to you about your message, we might go there. But that's another value of over $200. So if you're thinking about it, this is a great time to do it. And I would also love to know what you're taking with you from this experience today. I don't have time to hear from you individually, but if you put that in the chat, like what, maybe one word or sentence, what are you taking with you from your experience here? Just take a moment and put that in the chat, and I'll read them out as they come in. Yannick says simplicity. Heartfelt. Live from your heart, following the feeling energy. Tap into the inner knowing. Inner wisdom. I'm taking this joyful co-creation that we have, connecting with the feeling of my message. Yeah, that's it. Let the feeling lead. That's really what we respond to anyway. And the words will come. And the art of being you and sharing it. It's not the art of being you. You are you. But the art of sharing it as you, your way. You'll get a feel for it. And it is the feeling that leads you. So thank you so very much. I'm so happy and grateful that you're here today. And I wish you a beautiful rest of your day, wherever you may go, whatever you may do. Thanks, guys.